This show is intended for mature audiences. Topics of adult content, triggers, and explicit language may be discussed with or without warning. All thoughts and opinions belong to our hosts and do not reflect the original creator's own intentions. Spoilers for the book will be discussed, and while most discussion will revolve around the picked book, we do not guarantee there will be no spoiler warnings for other books or series. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Biblio Madness, a podcast for book lovers where we discuss our current and favorite reads. I'm your host, Laken.
And I'm your host, Rachel. Welcome, everyone. We are going to be doing a shorter episode. I know normally with our content we do about an hour to 2 hours because we like to talk a lot. But today we're probably going to do it down 30, 40 minutes, maybe less, because we're going to be discussing our favorite characters and character arcs in depth to a little bit of character development throughout all of our reading history.
Yes.
So we're going to go over a few classics, a few newer blood to our favorite characters, because I feel like everyone has characters that consistently change with what they're doing and what they're reading. So welcome everybody from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever platform you're on, and YouTube as well. Hello everybody who can see us. You get to have the fun of looking at all of the glorious bookshelves. And in my bookshelf, because I'm going to call out Laken for her Instagram reel / TikTok that went live on her organizing of books, which is beautiful. But my bookshelf, I got the paper copy, so now I know what I have to get Laken for Christmas is a paper copy of Akatar's final book, A Court of Silver Flames, so she can have a complete set as well in a row. And then we're going to have to get some new bookshelves because we both had like a panic attack earlier, freaking out by the fact that we don't have enough space, and I have 5 bookshelves in this room. And
it's never enough.
outside of this room in my house. And I looked at these and I was like, Laken, there's a lot of series that aren't, I don't have a complete set. Like, Dune's not complete, and City of Bones isn't complete, and the Cinder series isn't complete, and the Blood and Ash series. So we got a lot of books to continuously add to our bookshelves to hit that 1,000 goal. But we're going to jump into discussing our favorite characters. Laken, do you want to start us off?
Sure. So, like you said, we're talking about characters today. What makes them good, what makes them memorable. We can even touch on what makes them bad. So I don't know. We can touch on. Let's start, I guess, with what makes a good character to us, or a memorable character, something that stands out. And I guess a few examples of that.
Okay. I like it. So for me, standout character a lot of the times, and for a lot of different, I feel like, humans in general, we've talked about this before in the podcast, is relatability.
Yes.
And the connection it makes you feel with the character to see if you feel like them. Or sometimes it's about how, like, original thoughts are rare nowadays. We've seen it with movies. They're redone books a lot of the time. They're just like, oh, let's turn this book into a movie. Let's turn this book into a movie.
Yeah.
It's not like a movie was ever created on its own. And that you can also see with a lot of characters and a lot of different books. Like, I won't lie, Reese, we're going to just say Reese. Reese is very similar to Cass, who's very similar to Hudson and Jackson. Yeah. The characters are very similar.
Especially when you're in, especially within a genre, they can be similar. Yeah. So within fantasy, we do have that kind of overarching similarity.
And that happens with a lot of books. So for me, another thing that makes a great character is a standout character that's not like others.
The cookie cutter.
Not the cookie cutter
I can see
character. So that's what my personal thoughts.
Yes.
And like examples for me would be like, one, we can go really back to classic. Sherlock Holmes was an original character. And then now there's a lot of spin-offs. Like, me and my husband didn't realize that when we were watching House. We've watched House a million times. I'm not sure if you've heard of House. House is a doctor show with a doctor that deals with medical mysteries. I did not realize until my adulthood and way into it that House is actually a playoff of Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. House also lives on 221 Baker Street.
Oh, I didn't realize. I've never watched that. I've seen it, but from what I've seen of him, like clips, I can say he's very Sherlock coded. Oh, so I can see
he is. He's the TV creators based him off of Sherlock Holmes. And I was mad because I was like, but I love House. And I thought he was his own thing. But he wasn't. He was based off of Sherlock.
I own like 4 different copies of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I own so many.
I own the complete editions. If you go out into the rest of my house, I have a coffee table version. I have a special edition version. I have paperback versions. They're everywhere. I love Sherlock Holmes. He's a classic character.
Yeah, he is. I do say I love Sherlock. I didn't even think of him as a character too before you did, and This is why we have each other. Cause
you just went to fantasy. I feel like listen. You just went. You were like favorite characters. All right,
they
fantasy,
are.
Let's go.
All of the ones on my list are from fantasies.
That's okay.
That's mainly because that's what I read.
Yeah, it's like you're a fantasy reader.
Romance characters don't stand out to me that much to be favorites, at least from what I've read. So it's hard for me to choose something from that. And I wasn't even thinking like classics.
So okay. I read too many, but my you think your TBR is big with fantasy?
It's not just fantasy. I have a never ending TBR.
You read a lot of fiction too, but it's never ending.
Yeah.
I feel like your three big are fantasy, fiction, and sci-fi.
This is true.
Those are your three big.
I have lots of classics in there too, but those are my big three.
And mine are fantasy,
yeah,
horror, mystery, thriller.
Yeah.
I say that's one combo, and if you don't agree, I'm sorry. And then romance.
Yeah.
But I always love to dabble in classic, YA, and then general fiction, which...
I do have a YA series that's even on my list.
It's so many books, and I'm like, I can't ever get through it. But another classic, so I feel like Sherlock Holmes is more of the character that's unlike anyone else, so he draws attention to his character development. Because he's such a good character. We're just in awe of him. He's just mesmerizing. We're like,
love
how?
Sherlock. Love him.
And then I think another good character, I agree with romance. Like we were talking about, there's a lot of cookie cutter guys in romance. And I was trying to pick a favorite character out of romance books. And I was like, the one that I've always loved through and through is an old romance character.
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. I always go back to him.
Yeah, I feel like he's a classic for a reason. You gotta let Mr. Darcy.
If you don't like Mr. Darcy, I'm sorry. That is a classic romance. And it is beautifully written.
Yes, it is. And Darcy's a wonderful character.
He's such a gentleman.
He is.
I feel like Darcy captures like a gentleman man who is kind and who could also be real.
Yeah.
With a lot of romance characters, I'm not sure if you guys have ever noticed, is that a lot of the guys aren't realistic at all. She fell for an unrealistic guy pretty quickly, and he turned out to be bi.
Listen, I am never going to live down this Jackson slander.
No,
you like Jackson too. You just called it on the gaydar before I did.
I said he's not gay. He's bi. He likes both.
Yeah.
He was mated to. I feel like he's going to be mated to both. But like in romance books, I've read a lot of romance, and a lot of them are always the same: overprotective, or like controlling, slightly kinky, or just like uber duper sweet in childhood. And it's not a good combo of all of them. And Mr. Darcy's like super sweet, super fatherly, super protective, but he's like a good balance.
There's something that balances Darcy out into the way. I don't know what it is about
his
character.
It's so good though.
He has a richness and a depth to him.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to put it.
It's just
he doesn't feel, like you said, fake. He feels very realistic.
I feel like he feels safe.
Yeah, he does.
And not safe. Like he's a safe character. Like they didn't try to push the boundaries. I mean, like he, as a person, if you were with him, would feel safe. If you were in a room with him, you would not. You wouldn't be worried. You wouldn't be concerned. Yeah, and that's like for me, that was the epitome of like a good romance character. Somebody I couldn't forget because I read Pride and Prejudice like when I was 10, 11. And then I reread it as a teenager and as an adult.
I've only read it the once. I mean, I've watched the movie more, but I've only read it once.
I'll give you that. The movie's also great. What's her name that played it? Is it
Keira Knightley?
Keira Knightley. I get the two mixed up from Star Wars and her.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
We just watched. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes. Padme. I cannot remember her name for some reason.
Natalie Portman.
That's...
They came.
I could only think of Kristen Stewart, and I was like, that is not right. That is where we go into
Natalie Portman. But Natalie Portman also has like a new person that looks just like her, and it's Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown.
She does.
So Millie Bobby Brown, Natalie Portman, and Keira Knightley all look alike, and my brain hurts when I think about any of the movies they've been in. But those for me, I would say that's what I think draws out a good character.
I definitely think so. What you said about relatability, definitely. There is a catch term. I feel like we've all heard it, a comfort character.
Yeah.
And that is, I feel like a lot of times when you have a comfort character, it's either someone that you see yourself in situations like you can relate to, or it's someone who is what you're looking for. If you don't have that, like this, like you said, with stability or something, Darcy could be a good comfort character because of that. Yeah, I think that the relatability is definitely what makes a good character, and depth.
Yeah.
Shallowly, poorly written characters are never going to stand out unless they're so badly written that.
Happy Place.
For me, yeah, Happy Place. That will always be a sticker. Again, not to hate on the Twilight fans, but Bella for me is an incredibly shallow character.
Did not like her at all either. No. I don't like people that are selfish too much.
I don't either.
There's people that are driven and proud of who they are, but then there's people that are just selfish.
Yeah.
And those two, like, I don't know. There's a big difference in that kind of character, and a lot of people don't see, like, oh, you can't be proud of yourself and not be kind of selfish. And I'm like, no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to be confident in who you are, but also
you can
caring
for others. There's a... my favorite character of all time, you just, like, described perfectly. Aelin from Throne of Glass is, like, that to a T. Like, she is a confident bad A, but she's also, like, so loyal and so caring. I know you've heard me talk about this series nonstop, and if you have been
trying
on our thing, if you have been around here for a minute, you know that I talk about Throne of Glass a lot. But that is because it is honestly one of, like, the best written, like, stories I've ever read, and also the characters in it, like, all of the characters stand out, and I love in a way, or dislike in a way. Sorry, those that, we'll get there when we get to that.
I am trying so hard to catch up on the TBR right now.
Yeah.
It is never ending, and I will get to Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass soon. I have to continue. Every time I go to Target, if I don't find a book that I'm actually looking... This is a bad thing, but I'll call myself out on it. If I go to Target, anytime, any given moment. Luckily, I only have 2 right now. But every time I go, if there's a book that I'm looking for and I can't find it, but I have the next series...
the next one in the...
I buy the Throne of Glass, because I was like, I was expecting to spend money on a book, so I can justify it, because that money was already spent in my head.
In your head, yeah. I mean, luckily the paperbacks of those aren't that expensive.
Oh, no, they're not. They're not. They're like $10, maybe less.
But yeah, that series for me, like, stands out the most with characters. I deeply love so many characters in that, but Aelin and Dorian are even my favorites, which you'll see very quickly. Going back to what I said about standout characters and having depth to them, I just thought of more that I didn't even write down. I think another author that really does characters well is George R. R. Martin.
Yes.
Game of Thrones characters. You have, like,
Jon Snow.
Like the polar. You have such polarity in his characters. You have characters that you hate with such a passion, and then you have characters that you
was it
love.
Nessa?
Who?
The sister.
The sister.
The what? Okay, yeah. For Game of Thrones fans, if this is a spoiler, I don't even know how it is. It's in like the first chapters, first episode.
You would have had to list
the incest, the 3 siblings.
Oh, Cersei and Jaime. The Lannisters, right?
Yeah, the Lannisters. I hate the Lannisters. All of them.
So here's where his genius comes in. You hate those characters, but then later he can even make you like them. Like, I still don't like Cersei. I understand a little bit of her motives after, like, reading and watching more of the stuff. I don't hate Jaime. I've never really hated Jaime. I hated him a little bit when he pushed Bran out the window. That was
unnecessary.
That was a bad first impression, but it was written that way.
I don't hate Jaime. He was just screwing his sister.
Well, here's the thing. If you think about it, I mean, House of the Dragon, everyone was rooting for the incest in that show. It just comes down to the writing of it.
It's so weird.
It is very weird.
Characters can go in so many different directions, because going into, like, where you were saying, where J.R. Martin wrote, I said J. It's
Yeah, I kept thinking J.K. Rowling and George R.R. Martin. It's a mouthful. Or J.R.R. Tolkien.
It's too much. But in where you were talking about characters that are, like, you hate them to a T, but then they make you like them.
Yes.
The opposite, and who did it really well, was Susan Collins in the new Hunger Games book with Snow.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I've not read it.
On Snow. Caleb's reading it right now. Mm-hmm. And it makes you, like him and have sympathy and think he's a good person. But at the end of the book, it just, like, you're destroyed because you know what he
you know it's coming.
And you know what's coming.
That is a testament not only to the writer, but also, you know, to the skill and depth that they have when making the characters. If you can emotionally manipulate an audience that much, it's crazy. Like, so that is to me what makes out a truly standout character.
Yep, I agree. And then I feel like there's always the hero character, which I was talking to Laken, and I didn't say this yet, but the more that I think about the characters I never like the main character.
Yeah, I do. Like, I feel like recently, in the more recent books I've read, I've liked the main characters, but before, almost all of them were side characters.
Yep.
Which if you can write a good side character that is a favorite, like, you know.
I think it's incredible if you write a side character and they have better background than the actual.
Yeah.
Like, you think they have such a great background, you're like, I love that character even over the main character, but I don't hate the main character.
Yeah. One a good example I feel like of that for me is, although Rhysand and Feyre are favorites in ACOTAR for me, Lucien stands out incredibly. Every time I think about, like, his past and his backstory and what has happened to him, like, it breaks me. And I just want my mans to be happy.
Alright. Okay, so yeah, Lucien, what you're talking about. I wrote him down.
You did
when I texted you, when she was like, give me your characters. I wrote Lucien down, but I also wrote Az down. Because
Az is another one.
I like him. A lot.
I like Az a lot, too. I am excited to see more of the depth given to him. Because, like, right now we have a glimpse into his story and his backstory. But there's not enough for him to be standout to me yet. Okay. I do love him. I am an Az girl over Cassian, but Rhys is my favorite. But yeah, I mean, like you said, like, we have a tinkling of his character and his backstory, but he's a quiet character that's in the background a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see more of what she does. I hope she does.
What I like about him a lot is that he is a quiet character.
And I really hope that she doesn't change that about him. Like, I know I want to hear him. I do want to see more of him and see him talk more.
Yeah, like,
and interact more, but I don't want her to change that nature of him.
Yeah, I feel like it's important because Az is such a wallflower character, but he's always there when you need him. Mm-hmm. He will do anything for you if needed. And he is caring, and his heart was broken because of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we... Excuse me. Talk about being led on for, like, 500 years.
So long.
I think there's more to that than she has said in that situation, because he's a spy master. There's no way he does not realize about more. Like, I want more about that, like, trio of friendship between Mor, Cass, and Az. I need more. And Eris, that is a standout character to me. Holy crap. I just now remembered him. Like, I think Eris is going to end up being another Rhysand character.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely more to him.
I don't know. There's a lot... Sarah J. Maas did a really good job writing a lot of her characters.
She is
besides Elaine. And...
Yeah. I'm not going to pass full judgment on Elaine yet, because her book has not been written. I will give it to what I gave Nesta to. I am not huge on either of them, though. No. I can see and understand more of Nesta after reading Silver Flames. Elaine,
I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that she's kind of cuckoo. Like, just, like, she's kind of off.
I don't know.
Something's wrong.
It's just, there's things when I think about, and I'm like, it's just aggravating.
She's weird.
I hope that she has a good explanation for why she is. That's all I gotta say.
I'm gonna say something, you're gonna hate me. I don't know if I liked Freya. Or...
You don't like Feyre?
Yeah, that much.
That really hurts me.
I thought she was... Okay, I saw the Tamlin thing coming for a mile away.
I didn't see it coming from a mile away. I was never fully on board with it because I was like, Lucian's right there. What are you doing?
Yeah, if you have Lucian there and you pick Tamlin, already something's wrong.
She had such better chemistry
with
him.
I think her character at first was a very ignorant.
Oh yeah,
and that made me mad.
She was very naive, ignorant, not in the way of being like, oh, you're stupid, but like in not knowing.
Yeah, like more like was ignorance is bliss kind of situation.
Yeah, and she was prejudiced in the first book too, heavily.
I was not a huge fan of her character until later.
Yeah,
until Rhys got involved.
I think in ACOTAR she wasn't a standout character to me in that book until like Under the Mountain when she started going through stuff.
Even Under the Mountain, I was still had no sympathy.
Really,
I had no sympathy, and I wanted to have sympathy so badly.
Later on in the series, from like Court of Mist and Fury on, I saw a lot of myself in Feyre. Like just her personality and type. She's probably one of the characters I've related to the most. Yeah. In personality wise. I
think one of my favorite characters for a female that I've read recently is probably Grace.
Grace is a good character.
But I like Eden more.
If we are talking about another big standout character to me that's been recent is Violet from Fourth Wing. She has quickly become like one of my favorite female leads.
She is really good as a read, but I haven't finished reading the book yet. You've not finished reading it. I love her yet.
I have such a respect for her. I think that's another thing that makes a good character. If I, as a reader, can like sit back and be like, "Wow, like I have a lot of respect for you as a character."
I agree. I think that's a good thing to point out with certain characters.
Violet she's an incredibly well written character and nuanced, and she's good for she's chronic illness representation. Yeah, which I think is incredible the way the author wrote that. Not, oh my goodness.
We've talked about a lot of memorable characters. Yes, we're going to talk about our favorites in a second, but let's talk about unrememberable characters. The ones that are bad,
the flat ones, the shallow ones,
the ones that we don't like at all.
I know we just talked on this, but like every time I think of a shallow character, I keep thinking of her now.
Who?
Elaine. Yeah. Archeron. Yeah. She's a very, like I said,
she's not good. She was not written well.
I'm not going to pass full judgment until I read all of her arc, but right now she's an incredibly flat and shallow character. There's nothing more to her.
Happy Place, like we mentioned earlier, I'm sorry, all of those characters.
All of them. Except for maybe
Chloe. Was it Chloe that I liked?
Kimmy and was it Chloe?
I think it was Kimmy and Chloe. The lesbian couple in Happy Place was okay. Everything and everyone else, no.
It was not it.
I don't ever want to read it again. I don't want to see it again.
We were talking about this before. She's keeping the book, but I'm actually getting rid of mine.
I love Emily Henry, and one bad book does not make a bad author.
No.
But I want to have a complete collection because I'm crazy. Even if I don't, I will keep books I don't like, so I can be like, yeah, I didn't like it, but you're more than welcome to read it.
Okay, so I do keep books that I don't like as well, but that one for me is just
it was bad.
So
a book full of bad characters.
I will never recommend that book to anyone, so therefore I'm getting rid of it.
No, I want to recommend it to anybody. I just want to be like, oh, you want to borrow a book? What are you looking for? And they're like, Happy Place, and I'm like,
you do you.
Okay, sure. Don't look at the review card then until the end.
Oh man.
No shame. Again, I love Emily Henry. Her beach read, People We Meet on Vacation, that was a really good one, and so was Book Lovers. I just can't get. But you would like People We Meet on Vacation. It's a good one, but I can't get behind Happy Place. It's not. It was my least happy place.
It was. It was not either of our cups of tea.
Nope.
If you or for some reason love the miscommunication trope, that is your book. If you're like us and you despise it,
it's like we're both
read it.
Very brutally honest people. We do not. We do not like miscommunication.
It was not it.
Other shallow, unstandy out characters for me. I'm trying to think of the books I read because I had a lot of flops this year. Currently, trying to think of books. didn't like Flint, and that made me sad.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just, I mean, in the first book, he's written for you not to like, because you're not supposed to trust him.
Yeah.
So the author did what she was intending to do with that. I don't mind him now. He doesn't, I mean, he's not a favorite of mine yet, but again, I don't think he's for me.
That's fair. I'm trying to think of, like, really badly written characters.
I think it's because I don't like cocky. Oh, well, I say that, and Aylin's, like, literally my favorite character, but
who?
I don't care that much for cocky characters. And I feel like he came off as very cocky in the beginning book.
Is so goofy, though.
Yeah,
I just pictured him as a very goofy boy, and he gave me my brother when he was little and immature. Like, he wants to save everyone, but he's also like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, I grew to like him more, especially in the last book. In Covet, I liked him a lot more.
He definitely got paid for what he did.
Yeah, he got more nuances to him. He was more, and he was given
that
more
whole
depth.
Chamber situation.
Poor Flint.
Poor Flint.
Poor all of them. That was awful.
It was bad. I think with that book, the thing that messed with me the most with the Hex, because I don't know. This is a weird thing to say, but I don't like it when the idea of being eaten. I don't like that.
Are you talking about the Wendigos?
The Wendigos? When they were ripping prisoners' arms off and just eating them?
That was one of the most brutal things I've read in a book. Like, they were, like, eating their prisoners. Like, there were people walking around with missing limbs because their guards would just randomly eat them.
Yes,
that was messed up.
That was messed up. That's a new level of messed up. I don't like it. Like, Attack on Titans, I love the anime, but I have to watch something
really
happy after, because I do not like the thought of being eaten. I'd rather just die immediately than being chewed on. It's just, I can't. It is a very big annoyance of mine. I can see
that you need to watch something happy after that.
I was like, you can burn me, you can drown me, you can suffocate me, you can put me in a box and bury me alive, you can shoot me with a gun. Do not do that.
Just get heavily tatted and you will deter any cannibals.
Yes, that's the goal. We have a lot of tattoos already. For all those weird people out there, don't
even think
about it. And I will die purposely on my own before that happens. I don't want to see it. No. Things like that gross me out.
That was awful to read about. I think I had, like, kind of blocked that out of my memory.
I remember it, and I was like, ugh. I was, like, trying to verbally, I was like, just slightly dying. Gross character. Don't like it. And I'm a thriller reader. Trust me, I've read a lot of this crap, and I'm like, not that. No, animals eating me. That's fine. That's fine. Humans eating humans. That's where we draw lines.
Yeah,
that's the line getting drawn. Other bleh characters. Nessa. I call her Nessie. Nessa. Nessie. She was a bleh. She wasn't great. She wasn't bad. She was just really.
Like I said, I hated her, like, visceral reaction before I read Silver Flames, and now to me, like, I can see and understand a little bit more, but it's still, I still don't love her. Sorry to all of those diehard Nesta fans.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you mad.
What are you gonna say?
I don't like Clary that much.
Clary, I can see that.
Clary's
you don't make me mad with that, because Clary is what you said about Feyre, but worse.
Yes.
Because she's a teenager.
Yeah.
And she's still very much a child in the first few books. Clary does get better as she gets a little bit older, and she gets to be a more nuanced, mature character. In the first few books, she definitely. Well, throughout the series.
Well, like, what book?
I don't remember.
Dang. I was hoping there was a light at the end of this tunnel.
I think around, for me, I want to say it was around book 4, maybe.
Book 4?
That she really, like, comes into herself. Okay. But yeah, she does.
For those who don't know or can't see what I'm holding, it's City of Bones series.
Clary was a little bit annoying, and I can understand that, and I can see that.
Very annoying character, but I read it because I liked the siblings in it.
Yeah, the Lightwoods.
Not
Alec and Izzy.
Alec. Yes,
Izzy's one of my top characters,
too. I love Izzy. She's so good. Izzy's
I love
great.
Simon in that book, too. He's
yes. Another fall flat character. Divergent.
Which one? Because
there's a lot of fall flat characters.
I can only think of, like, 3 characters in that entire book, and none of the others I don't remember.
I don't like the main girl.
You don't like What's her name?
I don't remember.
Tristan?
Trissy? Triss? Something with the Triss in it. I think it's Tristan. They call her something short. Because she changed her name. Also,
Triss. That's what I feel like it is, but I'm not sure.
I'm trying to find. They're writing in these books, and I did not, I just want to show you this so you understand. I thought this book was so long when I was a kid. Everybody, this is
it's so big, and
it's
everything's
huge,
spaced out.
And it's spaced out, and it's only, 500 pages, but logistically, it's probably 200.
It's probably 250 if you were to put it in normal size.
I don't even think 250. I think I'd get 200.
Really?
Yeah, because, it's the top and the bottom are over an inch long of gapping. So, I thought I was so proud of myself when I was 13 and I read this. I was like, yeah, I got a big book. No.
See me, who grew up reading, Lord of the Rings.
See, I read these later in adulthood because I wasn't allowed to read these when I was a kid.
I was definitely... I've always been a reader, so I've always read big books.
It was Triss. Because her name was Tristan.
Yeah, she's kind of a fall.
Triss was a fall character for me, and so was the boy in this.
4.
I didn't like 4.
I don't have very strong opinions.
Gale, is that his name?
Gale.
Gale's a bad character, but
I don't like Gale.
I feel like he was.
Gale is the original Tamlin.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. I don't like that guy kind of character, and that's the overprotective, controlling guy character.
The entitled. It was the fact that he felt entitled to Katniss, the entire series.
Peeta, though, is my favorite character.
Peeta is the standout favorite to me.
Peeta is. I could meet. Also, Josh Hutcherson did that character well too.
Yes, he did. He did very well. I love him. I think one thing I need to mention about characters is a lot of times, especially now, I feel like we get a-hole characters that are guys, the main love interests. They're just kind of jerks, and then it's eventually but he's a jerk for good reasons, But there's something about Peeta. He was just so kind and pure. He was
the whole time.
That's exactly what it is. Katniss was the a-hole character.
Yes,
and he was a bright light to her. And
Peeta was
steady.
Anybody who hated Peeta, I was like, I don't like you. Peeta never did any wrong.
Peeta and Finnick in the Hunger Games were definitely my favorites.
So she just named one of my favorite characters.
I had actually,
and I threw. And I mean, I threw it I walked back to it and threw it again. When Finnick Mockingjay, because it was unfreaking necessary to kill him.
Oh my word!
And I can't.
I really think that was my first heartbreak of a favorite character dying for me, because it was so unexpected. I did not see that coming.
I think when authors do that, they are trying to be death happens to everyone, even those you love, and they made you fall. Finnick,
she made you
glorious character.
Yeah, and his wife and all
his
that.
baby. You forget that his wife was pregnant.
Yeah, she was.
You forget that she was pregnant, and there was no reason for him to die. I don't even care about Primrose. I didn't like Primrose. I thought she was a fallout character. I didn't care about her that much.
Yeah,
But
every time I think about Finnick, I will never read that book again.
No.
The same thing goes for the Maze Runner series for me. Going back to
yeah. No, don't talk about him. Newt. These are characters that didn't need to die.
He was my favorite, and he got...
Newt was everybody's favorite. Caleb, my husband, did not read the books, so he went into that movie, and his favorite character is Newt. And I had to sit and eat my popcorn like a normal human, knowing what was coming, and he starts bawling.
Sweet summertime. Okay, I'm gonna confess something real quick. I did not watch that. What was it? Death Cure? Is that the name?
Yeah.
I did not watch Death Cure until last year. I refused to watch it. I will say, it was not as sad in the movie as it was in the books. The book was written so much worse. It was so much more heartbreaking.
In Finnick's death too.
Same. I will never watch that again.
I can't. I just don't. I don't.
So if
the sadness is just coming back,
we're reliving some of our YA.
These books are I'm just gonna got taped back on. Because the front of this cover,
I'm pretty sure I read a library copy of it. I don't think I even owned it.
Yeah.
When I read it.
I threw this a lot. You can even see that it's slightly dented with the cover on it.
For me, the biggest book that I threw with character... We're going off of character deaths, but you've not read it. It was Lord of Shadows, but in the Mortal Instrument series.
Oh.
It was the sequel series. It was The Dark Artifices.
Yeah.
But that book...
It's this one, right?
No, it's not that one. That's the prequel
this
series.
One.
You don't have it.
Which one's this?
It's Lord of Shadows.
Oh.
It has to do with the Blackthorn family. It's after Clary and Jace.
But which one of this? Book 5. Sorry. I didn't know which one this was.
Yeah, that book for me, that had like the biggest ever. Oh, I can't even think about it. It was a big throw the book moment for me.
I've thrown books too many times.
Oh my gosh. Rhysand's death. Sorry if that's a spoiler, I just realized.
I don't know how it's a spoiler, but...
In ACOWAR,
yeah.
like, that was a throw the book moment for me.
Did you throw the book for Jackson?
I closed it.
Okay. I didn't throw my book.
I closed it and went, oh my gosh.
I did not for one moment think that Jackson actually died.
Yeah,
because they already brought Hudson back. I did not think Jackson was going to die.
See, Hudson wasn't killed within the series. I think it was half and half. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, they just killed him. Is this how they solve the love triangle? Just killing him.
That wasn't shared originally. What the heck?
I didn't know that. And also with them killing Xavier in the book before that and not bringing him back, I was like, well, maybe she's not going to bring him back because that happened.
Okay, but Xavier was a side character. It wasn't Jackson Vega. Yeah. Okay, on a different part here, but back to we were at shallow stereotypes and one-dimensional personality. So those characters, we've talked a lot of bad ones. Then we talked about like wanting to be really, really vigilantly mad at your authors for killing the best characters in the book. I don't even know why that's necessary. But
I say that, but also as a writer, I'm going to make so many people mad. I'm sorry ahead of time. Let this be my formal public apology ahead of time.
I'm not prepared for that yet, because I can actually get mad at the author.
Yeah. You're going to read that and you're going to call me.
I hope I get a first copy.
WTF.
I'm going to be like, what the actual? I'm going to be texting her while all reading her book. What the frick were you thinking? No. I'm not prepared. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's go into going into personal favorite characters and then wrap this episode up because we have been going.
It's easy for us to talk.
It's very easy for us to talk about books. We could talk about this all day long, guys. We should do a live. We'd actually talk to people.
That would be nice.
It'd be fun. All right. So, favorite characters. I wrote mine down. I did not write down what books they are in, but Laken wants me to share. Sherlock Holmes from Sherlock Holmes.
If you didn't already know.
If you didn't get that, he's from those. Ron Weasley.
Ron's a good character.
So, my Harry Potter, I didn't have a crush on Ron, by no means. But I said in the beginning, I like side characters a lot, and I resonate more with side characters. Ron Weasley, youngest, one of the younger siblings in his family. The misunderstood, the goofy character. Like, he was just a fun character. He made me happy.
Ron is a good character.
And I know you are I like sad characters because I want to relate to them. But I'm already so, like, I have like, all of the trauma and sadness behind me.
Yeah.
I like happy people and happy characters.
I have 2 different types of
Even
characters.
Though I resonate with the sad characters, but I love the happy characters. Yeah. And Ron was such a good character. And, like, I love Harry, but I'm not a chosen one fanatic. And I love Harry Potter. I do. But I love Harry Potter for the world, not just for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I like Luna.
Luna Lovegood.
Underrated character in this book. Love her. She's so fun. Hermione I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought she was very annoying. But I like the thought.
Yeah.
Of...
I think Hermione gets better.
She gets better as she gets older. And, like, the whole Weasley family, it, for me, was something I could never have.
Oh, I loved the Weasley family.
And
all of them.
I loved
special place.
The dad and the mom and the Weasley family. So those favorite character definitely was Ron Weasley.
Another uncalled for death.
Why?
I know.
Why?
I don't know why I had to bring that up.
You didn't have to bring that up. No one was talking about that. Oops. Moment of silence. And then back to another character I had was Az from ACOTAR. He was my favorite character in the whole book series. Besides More.
More? Really?
Yeah. And what was her name? Not More, but the other one. The two girls in the friend group. Amryn and More. And Az.
I like Amryn. I feel like she was a mysterious character.
More,
I liked that.
I think I liked More because I could resonate with More. Does that make sense?
I feel like I didn't have strong reactions about either. I loved the friendship that she had with Feyre.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason.
You like Freya, though, and I'm not a huge fan, but I like More because of her relationship with her family.
Yeah, More.
Because I resonate with that part of her.
More is a good character. Although I am still slightly confused on her reasoning behind things with Cassian and Azriel and the leading on for so long. I
don't like that part.
I feel like there's more to the story that we're getting.
I agree with that because I like both of these characters. Yes. I want to know what's going on and why they are where they're at.
I need a whole novella.
I would love a More and Az
what's going on in their past.
Yeah. Like a prequel,
pre-Feyre, pre-everything, like the inner circle.
When they started, when they became friends. Yes, that would be great. Now, out of ACOTAR land, I have Joanna and Finnick from Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. Peeta is a standout, of course.
Yeah, Peeta's a love. Finnick was my favorite.
But Finnick was my favorite. And then Joanna I really loved, too.
Joanna was a good character.
And she was a great character. That elevator scene in the movies, that wasn't there in the book. So she wasn't that crazy. But she was crazy.
She did strip down in the elevator.
Not in the book.
I'm pretty sure she did. Didn't she?
Nope.
I thought she did.
That was added into the movies.
What's that thing called?
The
Mandela effect.
Yeah, Mandela
for me. Because I swear I can remember reading that, but it's been so long I can't say.
And then my last two that I had was Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice for a romance book. Yeah. And then I have from Blood and Ash, Castiel. I do not like Poppy. Character. Poppy was a fall-ish out character. She has a lot of inner dialogue that is not necessary, and I get that she's playing the whole innocent trope, but I don't love the innocence trope.
I think Poppy, she fell a little bit on the flat character side for me. I don't hate her or strongly dislike her, because if I did, I wouldn't have continued to read the books.
Yeah,
if I disliked her point of view that much. She's slightly annoying, and she's a little bit too wrapped up in her own head for me. I did enjoy Sarah more in the prequel series that she wrote. Which I don't know if you've gotten to that yet. I enjoyed their story a lot more.
I was in the last chapter of this one when we started this one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going into this one.
Yeah.
I don't know, for those who can't see, I forget that we have two versions.
Yeah.
I'm in the Crown of Guild and Bones, the last chapters, and then I'm going into the Shadow and the Ember.
I like Sarah.
The Blood and Ash series, but
story a lot better.
I took a break from that because we had a lot of books to read very quickly.
Yes.
And they're all 700 pages because we were crazy and we were like, let's pick a very long book series.
We're actually doing pretty well through it though. Yeah, they're very easy to get through.
They're very easy reads. All right, those are all of my characters that I have written out. Oh, besides Hudson Vega, which I love Hudson. He's a very good support system guy. He's I will support you through everything, and when you need me, that's when I'll back you up.
Yeah.
But he's you gotta do it on your own. I'll support when you actually need me, and don't try to fake me out because I know when you are.
I love that Hudson called her on her BS. Whenever she had it. That scene in Covet when she was giving up, and he's no, the frick you're not.
I was like,
get up, get up.
Get up. I love him when he does that, because he calls her on her bullshit all the time, and he's like, get up, we're not doing that.
That's good, I need that.
You know how to stand up. Stand up on your own.
Oh my gosh.
So, I love Hudson, but those are my favorite characters currently. They might change, but my romance, Mr. Darcy, has stayed true, and I've read a lot of romance. Mm-hmm. I've read a lot of Colleen, I've read a lot of Christine Lauren, a lot of Emily Henry, a lot of the Love Hypothesis series, all of those. I've read them all. Mr. Darcy, Holds true. That's what's
He's
important.
A classic for a reason.
All right, what do you got?
So, I've already mentioned my all-time favorite, which is Aelin from Throne of Glass. Dorian, and that is another big one for me. He's, in my mind, like the Lucian of his world. But you get to see them grow, all of those characters. We've already talked about ACOTAR characters, and I talked about Violet and how much I like her.
You do like Violet. I need to finish reading this book so we can talk about this more.
Yes. Violet, I don't know. She just... I will have lots of things to say about this book when we finally get to the episode on it. I will hold that for
hopefully
then.
Soon.
But I will say, if you're looking for a strong female character, she is like one of my tops that I would recommend.
I'm struggling to find a strong female character that I like, and I'm already liking her so much so far. So I'm very excited to get through this one and fourth ring and see if I love Violet as much as Laken does, and then also start reading The Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass to see Aelin. I'm very excited for those two things. All right, keep going. We got to get through it.
So other than them, a classic for me, I feel like that has stood out through the test of time, with characters, is Will Herondale from the Infernal Devices.
Okay.
I
love how you call that a classic.
No, he's not. It's not a classic, but
he's a classic.
It's a classic character to me, and he's like one of my favorite comfort characters.
Okay.
Even though this character has never known an ounce of comfort in his life, he, I think, is where the tortured soul started for me.
Yeah.
Really, I have a near and dear spot for him. But other than all of those that we've already mentioned, I will say a more recent one within the past year that has become a favorite to me is Kel Marish from the Darker Shade of Magic series. Honestly,
another one I have to read.
All of these characters to me like have a spot in my heart, but Kel really, he's the main character, but he stood out so much to me. Just the fact of his that he's powerful, but he's not invincible.
Yeah,
he's just, and his relationship with his family, he's very nuanced and just all around good character. I loved him a lot.
I love it.
I think if you like Az, you'll like him because he's more of a quiet type.
I'm so excited. Laken has created a TBR that's endless, and I cannot catch up. No matter what I try to do, it doesn't work.
I feel like I'm more, I feel like I'm deeper in book talk than you are, so I keep seeing all of these even more new things that get added onto my TBR, and then I send them to you, and I'm like,
just so you know, I don't have time to watch TikTok because I'm currently reading the TBR list you gave me already. So I don't got time to scroll. You know the whole videos of switch your phone time for screen time? I think my phone time was like at 30 minutes.
Wow.
Mine's day
probably
this week.
More than I should have. But, I don't know. I feel like I have a good mix. I'm not always on it.
You're fine. I have an endless TBR that continuously grows because you keep telling me about books that I have to buy.
I did that like last week. I sent a screenshot of a TikTok from like a book recommendation, and I was like, well, here's another one to the list.
We go. All right, so everybody comment and let us know what's your favorite characters currently, all-time favorite, and hopefully either we read them, but my biggest hope is I haven't read it, so I can enjoy it and have a new character that I will love, because that's what I'm excited about, because I haven't read a lot of characters Laken's talked about.
Yeah, I realize I've talked about a lot of that you haven't.
Which is
fine.
It's
kind of hard to talk about them when I can't give away spoilers.
I am very excited to read about these characters, and I hope that we've mentioned some characters today that you guys haven't read, so you guys can enjoy and find those books and enjoy those characters as much as we do and fall in love like we did. Thank you for listening and watching. Laken, do you have anything you want to add out before we close out?
I don't think so. If there's anything you guys want to see us do or talk about, or books you want to recommend, please let us know.
Oh yeah, if you're
always down.
I was like, if you rec a book, we'll do an episode on it.
Yes.
Just let us know. We'll pick it up and read it, and then maybe put a story. Be like, hey, upcoming episode.
Yeah.
Fan recommended. We'll be reading and discussing ASAP. Yes. So
we'll add it to our never-ending TBR that we just talked about.
Yep. Start bringing in the thriller books, because I'm about to take Laken to the dark side for October, and I'm so excited.
I have kept my TBR for October very open. I only have one book that I want to read during it,
because I have so many thrillers to rain down. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for spooky season. If you haven't gotten ready for spooky season already, be prepared because it is time for slashers and mysteries and all of the scary crap that could happen. You're not going to want to read at night. If you thought Verity was bad, be prepared. Yeah, okay. Because this is where I come out. This is my strong. We've been in Fantasyland right now, which I love. We have been in it for a while. But we're about to get to Scaryland, and I'm excited. So, everybody, thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and catch us next week at 10 a.m. on Monday. Yes, and we'll see you then. All right, farewell.